Hey everybody, we're going to talk about a couple things today. The main topic is going to be training aids, basically gear that you're going to be wearing for workouts, and we're going to discuss three aspects of it. Number one, what are we talking about as far as training aids go? Why do we use some of them? And when do we use them? So kind of getting into it. What are we talking about? And these are, there could be some that I've missed here, but these are the general kind of 6 that most people use when it comes to working out or comes to CrossFit. So number 1 on the list is weight belts. We got knee sleeves, so like compression sleeves. We got wrist wraps. We have shoes. So this could be Olympic lifting shoes. This could be running shoes. This could be CrossFit shoes. We have socks. You know, primarily we see socks, high socks being worn in deadlifts and rope climbs. And then we have compression gear. You get the long compression pants or the long compression shirts or the arm sleeves. So those are kind of the main 3. Again, I've probably left some out, but we're going to talk about those in general. The first one is the big one that most people view as far as a gear or training aid. Why do we use a weight belt? So weight belts are used, number 1, to help the core stabilize, and to help us keep external pressure in our abdomen so that we're not collapsing at the bottom of a squat or rounding at the bottom of a deadlift. So it helps stabilize our core so that we can lift more. Knee sleeves, same thing with the knees. Keeps the knees in tight so that the joint doesn't get loose and doesn't move around. It adds compression. It's kind of like an external ligament, or helps the ligaments as far as elasticity goes. Wrist wraps, same thing as the knee sleeves. Keeps it tight so that you're not overextending the ligaments. Shoes, Olympic lifting shoes. Well, that's the big one. We'll discuss that the most. It elevates the heel. Olympic lifting shoes are great because they're flat as well. So perfect contact with the ground. More contact means more power through the barbell. But elevating the heel also eliminates some flexibility issues that people might have. And it helps us get into a better position as far as a squat goes, or as far as pulling off the ground goes, if anything. Socks. Long socks, like I said, rope climbs and deadlifts, so you're not scraping the shin. And compression gear, that's mainly as far as wicking water or wicking sweat away, but you know, studies have shown that it also helps as far as recovery too. So let's talk about the why. Why the weight belt? Again, like I said, it's going to be as far as core stabilization. I'm sorry, let's go over when. We've already kind of gone over why. When. So when do we use a weight belt? So here's the pet peeve on the weight belt, and hopefully this helps everybody realize when to use them. Number 1 is 90% or greater on any lift. All right. Number 2 is competition. All right. And number 3 is benchmark. All right. So we got 3 times that we want to use a weight belt. 90% on the left or more, competition, and benchmark. So most of the time we are training. We hardly ever see this. This is maybe 10% of the time of our workouts. So the weight belt only should be used about 10% of the time. If you use it not 10% of the time on the other training aspects, you are taking away from the training, you are getting your core weaker. Again, the weight belt acts like a core stabilizer. It is essentially a core aider, so you're not strengthening your core, and hence you're going to hurt yourself in the long run because of development. So weight belt, only in those 3. Knee sleeves, going all the way over here. When we use knee sleeves, if we have bad knees, if we have bad mobility, and again on that realm, same thing as far as the 90% and the benchmark go. All right, so we add kind of 2 more things: bad mobility, bad knees, or bad ligaments, as far as injury, past injury, or current injury. Wrist wraps. Wrist wraps go and use for barbell movements. So strapping wrist wraps on to do a deadlift is pointless because there's no really stress on the wrist. Any of the barbell movements, like the Olympic movements, pull up, again, no point to use a wrist wrap. Thruster, obviously wrist wrap, but you got to think anytime where your wrist is turning over, your wrist is getting flexion. Wrist wraps will be good, especially for high repetition, even if it's lightweight. Shoes, Olympic lifting shoes. They're called Olympic lifting shoes for a reason. You use them with Olympic lifts. Deadlifts, you should never use Olympic lifting shoes with deadlifts because they actually hinder what the deadlift is supposed to be doing. You should never be using Olympic lifting shoes just because you say you have poor flexibility and you want to row with Olympic lifting shoes to be in a better position. No, again, that kind of goes back to using the shoes for the 90%, the competition, or the benchmark. Again, we're going to use this as a basis, and then we're going to use the shoes as far as Olympic lifts go, even if it's 10% or 100% as far as the Olympic lifts are. Socks. I don't care about socks. Look funny, have fun, socks are fine. All right, long socks, you can wear them whenever you want to. There's nothing bad about socks, it just helps you not scrape through your shins. Compression gear, same thing goes along with socks. Again, there's so much out there that's kind of back and forth about compression gear that it really, it could help you, it could hurt you, it's not gonna do anything as far as inhibit your training goes or not get you or get you to a result. So that's either fine. But again, the big things that we're talking about today, weight belts and shoes are the big two that we need to make sure that we are conscious on when we're and when we're not using them. Hope this was informative, not too long, so make sure you put this into practice and have a good one.